Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is at FeelThePaynePW, or Nick Payne if you prefer, and you're watching my team career here on F1 2020. And if you haven't checked out my previous episodes, please go do so now. Obviously, it's episode 36, we're into season 2, and the last race, of course, was at the Singapore Grand Prix. I qualified in P2, I did get up into P1, into the turn 1, and actually moved up the field quite easily into the clean air. But as I came in to do my second pit stop, the safety car did come out, actually slowed everyone around us. So it was a weird strategy, but we made it work. It was a 2-stop, obviously medium to soft, and the safety car may have helped with that because we just got to drive around slowly for quite a bit as Leclerc caught up to us. But we did stay in front by about a second. And we can go on through to the next race weekend now. And as you can see, we've got the chance to do some activities here. We've only got 2 days, unfortunately, so we are going to go with the durability team building, just because it don't really affect anything else negatively, any other departments. But it actually helps the durability, which in reality we do need. And we're going to actually buy an upgrade for the aerodynamics side. And hopefully that helps going through this sort of S section in Mexico. And we can actually go through to the race weekend now here in Russia in SOCHI Autodrome. And hopefully we get a good qualifying. As we come round the final quarter here at the Sochi Autodrome, and obviously we've let everyone else go ahead, set their times first so we can be one of the last cars out. Here we're on the soft tyres as we brake just at the 100-metre board, turn the car in, careful not to go over the barricade there, because if you do then you have to take the slip road, and we go round the long left-hander of turn 4 into turn 5. And just get on the power as quickly as possible. Once you're around at the apex there, brake just at about the 75 to 50 metre board. We actually go deep into that turn there as we go through into sector 1. We actually cut the corner slightly on the front right wheel, but it's the fastest sector 1, so it is good so far as we go deep into the turn there. Unfortunate as we go just about keep the car in track limits there. As we go into the DRS section of the track, the first part of the track, which is into the heavy braking zone. Got to make this right, just about the 125 metre board, if you're feeling adventurous, that is. Round into the last sector of the track, last part of the track, as we come through the chicane, which slows everything down here. Everything is just so slow through here. There ain't really many chances to make an overtake as we come around the final 2 quarters, keeping it in track limits. Go around the final quarter, get across the line, and we are P1 in Q1, and Leclerc in P3. So Valtteri Bottas splitting the Payne Racing cars as we come on through, trying on the medium tyres, see if it's possible. Unfortunately, we can only get P10, but that does drop us down, so we do have to go out again. We did drop down to P15, but once we go on a set of soft tyres, we do jump up into P5. And as we go out for our first lap in Q1, we can only get P6, but it does drop down to a P8. It wasn't a good time. We did stay out on those tyres just to get as much out of it as possible. We did go P5 and did drop down to P6. But as we go out on a brand new set of soft tyres, we do get pole, and we do get 3 purple sectors, which sets us beautifully for the race.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula 1 race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Built on the shores of the Black Sea, the Sochi Autodrome is a 3.6-mile tour around some of the venues built for the 2014 Winter Olympic Games. close barriers may make overtakes more challenging, but with 56% of the lap taken absolutely flat out, we certainly won't be wanting for pure speed. A fitting arena then to do battle at the pinnacle of motorsport. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. The rookie lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Norris, Sainz, Hamilton and Pierre Gasly, Perez, Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Russell, Nobuharu Matsushita and Daniel Kvyat. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Stroll, De Vries and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So obviously we qualified on pole position, and we're going to start on the soft tyres just like we obviously qualified in Q2. We are going to go to the medium tyres. They make much difference between the hard and the medium, so we are going to go for the medium. And as we go to 5 red lights, and we're underway finally. A little bit of a hesitation there, but we do get underway with the overtake in the rich mixture just to try cover Leclerc off as quickly as possible. But I do think we have enough of a room and a little bit of a gap there as we break at the 100-metre board, turn the car in, and we are still in front at what I would assume T1 is, but in reality is turn 3 as we go round the long left-hander. And we're still thankfully in the lead, but the gap is closing as each turn, and he is right on our tail, our teammate here, trying to pressure us into making a mistake here in lap 1, and we're careful not to go deep into that turn, just cover off the right parts of the track there, going defensive so early on here, and just trying to keep in front as we've got our teammate pressuring us through each and every turn here. The gap is up to nearly half a second as we go into what will be the DRS zone. Obviously no DRS so early on here on lap 1, but we've got our teammate just trying to do everything he can. We're trying not to use as much overtake as possible, trying to keep it, as we've already gone down to 50% already, but as we go through the braking zone, we're up into about just under a second here as we go quite steadily over that bump there on the turn just into the chicane. Hopefully we can carry on pushing away from our teammate, but hopefully he doesn't get sort of caught up by his former teammate in the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel as we go across the line to finish lap 1 in P1. And we do have Leclerc and Vettel both right on each other's tail, and Vettel's actually looking to make a move there, as you can see. And as we come on through 1 lap later, we are still in the lead. Leclerc and Vettel are still right behind each other. DRS has finally been enabled, and as we go across the line for fastest lap, Lewis Hamilton does, then so does Pierre Gasly, so that gets taken away from us very quickly here. But as you can see behind us, you've got Leclerc and Vettel, and they are having quite a tasty battle here as they go side by side into the turn, and it's great driving from the former teammates. And as you can see, Leclerc going on the outside round the long left-hander, and Vettel's on the inside. He should have the move, but unfortunately for him, Leclerc gets still side by side into the next turn, into turn 5, and he does stay in front of Leclerc there. And as we come on through 1 lap later again, Leclerc and Vettel both having the exact same battle here, and it's Vettel tried to go to the inside, Leclerc covered him off, he switches back to take the outside, which will turn to the inside down here, and let's see if Vettel can actually get in front. He's got the edge on him, he's got a bit more in front of him than he did on the last lap if you remember, but Leclerc jumps down the inside and retains the position for a whole nother lap. But as you can see here on lap 5 now, Vettel has finally got the inside into turn 3, he locks up on the front left, and he's got the move done, and that's actually slowed Leclerc massively now. And you can see the Red Bull with Daniel Ricciardo coming through. This is great driving from behind us. I wish I was that McLaren, or not the McLaren, the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas there, because that was quite tasty action. That would have been beautiful just to sit there and watch. Thankfully we have the cameras for after the shot as we come into the pits, and we're actually going to double stack here. Leclerc is also coming into the pits, which might be a bit risky for the team. We'll see how it plays out later on, but at the moment we are coming in for a double stack, and we're going to come through, and it's going to be a 2.8 pit stop, and Leclerc is just come through. Thankfully we don't collide and we don't hold him up for too long, but I do think the pit stop would have held him up as they had to sort out the new tyres. And as we come out of the pits, we do come out in P16, and that is quite pivotal. We do need to get on. We've got a Williams and a Racing Point just in front of us, and we do need to get past George Russell and Sergio Perez as quickly as possible. We can't be held up for them for too long here, because Vettel and the other cars in Valtteri Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo will be coming into the pits, and they were catching up to me as I was coming into the pits. And as you can see, we've already caught up to the Williams of George Russell. Just got to look to make a move here. He's on the softs, most likely the worn softs that he started the Grand Prix on. Sergio Perez starting on the mediums. Hopefully we can obviously make a move as quickly as possible here. We're going to have a look down the inside, but he does turn in, and thankfully we brake early enough that we don't actually lose our front wing. That was quite stupid of me there, as I should have just waited and bided my time to make this move a lot easier. We do have DRS, fresher tyres. We're going to dive down the inside this time, and I do think that was a great move, but it shouldn't have been made to be that hard there. If we'd have just bided our time just that little bit more, then we'd have been able to make the move a lot more simply, just round on either side of him, halfway round the straight. But unfortunately we did make it hard on ourselves, and maybe we might have lost a little bit of time here, but we'll have to see, as we've still got Perez up ahead. And as you can see, there is cars still coming out of the pits, and Vettel is racing hard to come out of the pits, as we've got Perez just in front of us. And as you can see behind, Vettel is there, and Perez is trying to cut us off. Oh, that was lucky. I'm so glad he turned across to the racing line at that point. If he'd have waited any longer, I might have lost a left part of my front wing there, as we come up through round the long left-hander, and we're up into P7 now with a car between us, in Perez between Vettel. And as we go round, we actually cut the corner quite a lot there and exceed track limits as we try to make the fastest lap. We get purple first sector, purple second, but unfortunately it's not good enough for the fastest lap. Bottas retains the fastest lap. I do want all 26 points if it's possible, as we cut the corner slightly there. Thankfully we don't get a warning from the FIA, but as we come around the long left-hander, we are trying to put as much into the car as possible. Hopefully we can get a chance to get that fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We did go wide into turn 5 and careful not to obviously hit there, and we cut the corner again, and it's another, oh, that's a shame. It's a multiple warnings. It's a 3-second time penalty. Thankfully we do have quite a lot of time. There's 6 seconds between us and Vettel at the moment. It has been reduced as the laps go on down to 5.5, but this is going to be tasty now, as Vettel is pushing hard and Sergio Perez is out of this Grand Prix, and that should be a safety car. As you can see, that's just before the final turn, and that is blocking off a lot as we come round to start our final lap, and we actually go fastest. Finally we go fastest in this Grand Prix, and we come across the line to take the checker flag here in the Russian Grand Prix. That's going to be 26 points for Nick Payne.
Another superb Russian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. And after this round of the World Championship,
And as you can see, we don't actually get the fastest lap because our teammate, who finishes in a disappointing P5 after starting in P2, gets the fastest lap of the day, which in reality, considering he had 10 points from finishing P5, getting the extra point for him ain't too bad for his fight in the World Drivers' Championship to push him up further, or try to anyway, as Vettel moves up into P3, Max Verstappen in P2, we're still in P1, and if we win the next race, with only 2 races to go, we are the new world champion. And as you can see, it's also a 44 point gap to Ferrari in P2 as well. So if we do win the next race and Leclerc finishes in a tidy position in front of the Ferrari drivers, then we could be coming as a world drivers champion and a constructors champion. And if you have liked this video, that's where I'm going to wrap it up. If you have liked this video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I've been at FeelThePaynePW. Hope to see you on the next show. Goodbye.